7 pieces to then make another copy of that piece somewhere else. So what you essentially have is completely, basically, uncensorable and uncensorable data that can't be shut down. It's basically, I don't know if anyone heard of the dark web before. It's basically a lot better version of that. Facebook about a month ago, I think there was about 15 million users of data. These things can never happen again. And basically, people have full and verifiable privacy. That's in the open source code of the network. And then, but the thing is, once you have a layer, a software layer for the decentralized internet, you can actually do something more with it to decentralize a huge middleman of the internet, which is basically the advertising networks, like Google, for example, which basically Google is just a middleman between the advertisers and the end users. So, but if you have the users already contributing to the internet, if you have internet fully owned by the users, then if you have the right software structure, you can actually then get rid of this middleman that Google is. So basically, the network will also come with a network-wide advertising network, similar to Google AdSense, where website owners as well as content creators can then easily integrate the network with their website or their content for passive income. And basically, then the revenue that comes from advertisers will then go to those content creators as well as the users. So that means the users will actually get paid to browse on the network. Not a lot, obviously, but you get you get paid nothing right now to serve the current. So that's basically, it's very similar to a project with Brave. I don't know if you ever heard of Basic Attention Token. They're trying to do that as well, but they are doing it on an opt-in basis. Like website owners have to actively join the network for their to get paid for their system to work. But this one, it will be established as the default features of the new internet. So how they spend to do something that they'll get paid to they've never gotten paid before, just to basically browse on the network. And the revenue will also pay content creators just like how YouTube does it now to create content. And then it also, a portion of it will actually also go to a decentralized fund that's going to be controlled solely by the users of the network. So I'll go into that later. And now I'm going to talk about the problem with current structures, the governance structures. For the purpose of this, I will define centralized organizations as organizations that's governed fully by legally binding agreements, such as terms of service, and obviously you all know they have problems with non-transparency, and that's why we're here in the decentralized space. But here's the thing, I'm sure people have heard of the DAO, which is Decentralized Autonomous Organization. The first idea of it probably is one of the earliest and largest ICOs ever. There is like 150 million in 2016, but then we got hacked and stuff. That wasn't too pretty. But anyway, so basically, how for those that are not too familiar, a DAO is basically a piece of smart contract that basically is built so that it has its components of self-governance. So basically, it's like an organization. However, a DAO, because it's only a smart contract, will find it very hard to do things like land and vehicle ownerships, owning different businesses or via bank accounts, or use the court system at all. So it's an advantage. But a centralized organization, however, can do, for example, land ownership very easily, but it's centralized. So how do you kind of get the best out of both worlds? So basically, right now, all the current structures, there is only two choices of governance: either centralized organization governed fully by legally binding contracts, or decentralized autonomous organizations governed fully by smart contracts. So EO will change the or to an and. So now you have an organization that's fully governed by both smart contracts and legally binding agreement. So um, the for the third component, it's a brand new governance model, which I call the hyperlife autonomous organization. So hyperlife is obviously a new word, so let me define it. Referring back to the definition of the DAO, a hyperlife autonomous organization is both an organization fully governed and assured by code, which is smart contract, and fully governed by legal institution. So hyperlife EO would be the first how. And I do believe it's the next generation of autonomous organizations as it provides all the benefits of the DAO plus a world of added benefits. So how does it work? Basically, a non-profit foundation that acts solely for the benefit of EO is set up, or whatever future hyperlife autonomous organization will be set up. And in its constitution, which if you start a Switzerland non-profit organization, is not changeable after it's set. Basically, in its constitution, it will say it will only act according to the votes decided by the smart contract enabled voting on the network, including modifying its own constitution. So once you have this set up, then it also further states all the profits of the network go back to the all the profits of the foundation go back to the network. Basically, once you have this set up, then you have the smart contract and the decentralized voting controls this network and its foundation. So now you have a foundation that's fully owned by and controlled by the token holders of the network, pretty much. So now, due to such structure, because it's fully guaranteed by the legal constitution to act in accordance of the network and also by smart contracts, so all the funds of the organization, of the foundation will be controlled by a smart contract. Due to this setup, this foundation can pretty much can be trusted to own land on behalf of the network. So if the network wants to use part of its revenue to generate to buy a land or a business, it can do so. So this setup really opens up a myriad of new possibilities of DAO, basically, that was never before possible. And then we'll have, obviously, in the network will come with its own innate currency that would function as the currency of the network. That's going to be fully integrated in the network with basically transaction fees, but the transaction fees play an interesting part because the transaction fees are like tax, a small percentage tax that applies to all transactions. But unlike, for example, Bitcoin, the transaction fee would actually go to a decentralized fund that's also controlled by the network. So, and then I'll go into this later because this will go will be part of the governance structure. So also there will be a scalable smart contract platform, just like it also utilizes the token of the network, and also the fees generated by the smart contract platform will also go to a decentralized fund that's controlled by a smart contract of the network. So just a quick fact: that the Bitcoin network as a whole is generating about 100,000, even at current prices, in transaction fees per day, and Ethereum is about 90,000 in transaction fees per day. So together, they're actually generating a lot of just transaction fees. It's quite a lot. And for example, if you consider if all this money would go back to a fund then controlled by the network, and the network can start, well, for example, investing in startups that, if as decided by the entire network, that will then be owned by the network, and all the profits of that startup can go back to the network. So it's autonomous organization built on top of this service internet and advertising layer, but the profits that's generated, it can actually go to a lot. It can do a lot more with these profits generated. So it's got a self-governing structure. And then there's marketing. So I feel there's a lot of challenges with marketing and adoption of crypto, and because there's no innate motivator for people to basically promote to others about cryptocurrencies, like, maybe only for, especially if nowadays when Bitcoin price is so high, because before you can, maybe invest a little bit amount and get a lot of the Bitcoin's market share, so you are much more motivated to introduce to others and to learn about Bitcoin. But nowadays it's like, it's a lot for even one Bitcoin, and you're not gonna hold one Bitcoin and start promoting it to others, hoping that people are going to use it and the value of the Bitcoin is going to go up. So basically, the early investors of Bitcoin have paid a lot, and the latecomers not paid enough for the effort, even if they really promote Bitcoin and get everyone to adopt it. But basically, Bitcoin has no innate kind of motivator for people to go out there and promote this. And that's why now you see Bitcoin is being used more as a store of value rather than a transactional currency. So basically, what if you can without making any investment to Bitcoin itself, get paid to promote, for example, Bitcoin Ethereum to people, and your pay wouldn't be correlated to the market cap, but to how well you promote it. For example, another example is when was you could refer Bitcoin network miners, and the Bitcoin network will benefit from you referring miners to the network, but you never get paid to refer miners to mine Bitcoin, for example. So this kind of changes things. So this is the last component of the deal. It'll be a very unique self-marketed network structure, and I believe it'll really underpin and really market this network to a lot of people. So the network will have a network marketing structure for all of its components. Sure, no worries. So yeah, so you have a network marketing structure for its components. You basically get paid to refer people to use the network, and I say by advertising or by pay to store data, or even just surf the network, because when they surf the network, they will get points in which, in end of the day, are redeemed for the revenue that comes in that day from advertising. So basically, this the referral structure basically means if I refer someone to use the network, and if they purchase any service from the network, which is basically data, storing data and advertising, they will get paid a percentage of the revenue that their referral has spent, and if their referral is referring, they will also get paid. So anyway. Sure. So I guess if I have to summarize it, it'll be a fully self-governing and fully self-marketing autonomous organization with a serverless internet that directly rewards its interactors. And then these are the components basically. And I want to mention the first component is about 70% developed, which is alpha network out, so that this project will fork, which is maintain the safe network. But all the other components are not different, unique to this network only. But the first component is being developed by an open source team for about 10 years. So and they have alpha network out, and you can download and interact with alpha.
That's Z for percent. That's like a decentralized internet. And I know there's a lot more to talk about this project because it's such a deep project. But please let me know if you're interested in knowing more about this project and to talk to Z about it. We have that call our so that call is coming to revolutionize the travel industry.
Thank you.
Using AI.
Good intro.
Hi, everybody. My name is Neil Valentine. I'm the CEO of Nightcrawler. Happy to be here this evening with you. This is my ugly mug. I'm an American. We're based out of London. I've been working in the travel technology industry for about 15 years. Happy to announce I recently sold my business to an amazing group of crypto investors. And we pulled out some of the great assets from the last business. We've rolled it into what is Nightcrawler today. I want to walk you through a little bit of what we've been working on for, let's call it, the last 4 years, even though it goes beyond that, and where we're headed today. So the transactional platform that we built has transacted over $2.5 billion worth of hotel bookings. That's over 8 million room nights. We've had over 3,000 call center agents in 9 different countries, and the list goes on and on and on. You didn't come here to listen to me talk about myself. Needless to say, I've been in travel tech for a long time. The one thing that I did come here tonight is to, if you don't leave with anything other than this, is to help you understand how the travel industry works today and to empower you as a traveler. And so I want everyone, if you'll just go down this journey with me really quick, think about your next big trip. Actually, think about a trip you've always wanted to go on. You don't know much about the area, okay? Does everybody have something in their mind? No wrong answers? Any volunteers? Come on, somebody. Somebody. Where do you want to go? Kazakhstan. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody wants to trump Kazakhstan? Greece. Maldives. Okay, now I want you to think about the process you would go through to book that trip, to plan that trip. If you're like the vast majority of us, it starts with a search engine. From a search engine, you can figure out what's available in the Maldives, what's available, what city might you want to visit. Then you move into the meta search engines. You sort by star ratings, you sort by price, you figure out exactly where you want to be. And that's the state of today's travel. It's reliant upon you as a user to figure out exactly where you want to go. And it forces you down that path yourself. And I want to talk about what the future of travel looks like, how it looks different than today. And a big piece of what it looks like is using artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning, which is, we all know, one branch of AI. And it's to create a frictionless process for you as a user, to really personalize the experience for you. The other big piece is that it's unified. What does that mean? It means that the ability to transact with hotels and homes on the same platform, the ability for you to access all the different ways that hotels distribute their inventory. There's lots of different ways to talk about it. Another big piece is that it has to be simple. It has to take that manual process off of you as a user and use technology for what it was built for, to make our lives better, to make that process easier. And then the last one that I think I just jumped past was trusted, right? As it looks today, there's nobody who's writing this transactional data on a blockchain. There are hidden fees in the process, and there needs to be transparency in a process that doesn't happen today. So if all this technology is so amazing, why isn't it already been done? Why are we still stuck in this process where we have to manually find the answers? And the reality is, because a consumer will travel across 38 different websites to plan their travel. And there's a lot of money that's made by each of these websites. As you as a consumer, you are the product. You are the cow that they are milking as you go through that process. And they're extracting money from their advertisers as they go through it. And so what needs to change? There's a layer of middlemen that control this process. They control it from an advertising standpoint. They control it from a traveler's access to inventory standpoint. And those ad dollars move from the property owners up to the meta search engines. They move from the online travel agencies up to the meta search engines. And that's a layer that can easily be disrupted. This is just one example of how bad the process is with meta search. There's no apples to apples comparison. You don't know if this is the same price. And why is that? Like I said, 80% of their revenue is generated from advertising. So it's not a consumer-first approach. They are not aligned with what users' needs are. And in this example, if you look at it, you think, okay, this is Trivago, right? Each of these individual outbound advertiser links generates revenue for Trivago on the scale of $3 to $4 with every outbound link. So what's their incentive? Their incentive is to get you as a user, to provide you with the user experience that's just good enough that you'll come back, but hopefully you'll click on 1, 2, 10 of these outbound links and increase their revenue. As a major advertiser myself, over the last 15 years, we're spending tens of millions of dollars a month on Google. And about 4 years ago, Google took a hard look at the industry and said, man, there's a lot of money in that meta search game. We should get in it. And so they made this slow shift of moving advertisers out of what was Google AdWords into their new meta search product called Google Hotel Ads. And so if you rewind 4 years ago, my cost per click in Google AdWords was 40 cents. As I now move into Google Hotel Ads, that exact same click now costs $6. And so it's highly unsustainable as an industry. And in the end, us as consumers are the ones that receive increased pricing because of the increased advertising costs. And here's a great slide that talks about the disproportionate amount of spend, online advertising spend, as it pertains to travel, when you compare it against peer sets in e-commerce. And so there's a reason that when we search on Meta, and we jump around, there's this innate distrust. We don't trust the results. And you can blame it on bad reviews, but it really comes down to misalignment of their business model with our needs. Another big piece is there are travel players that will charge you 21% of the subtotal just to use their platform. Something has to change. We believe it's Nightcrawler. The future of travel is coming. There's no question. It's a matter of who's going to get there first. And so we've been steadily building what we view as the best solution in the travel, specifically technical and technology industry. And it's a large addressable market globally, no question about it. And I want to walk you quickly through how we got there. As we built a unified booking engine, we started connecting into private grade inventory and public grade inventory. So we connected into the online travel agencies, public, right? We connected to the global distribution systems, public. Then we started jumping into the private inventory, bed banks, wholesalers, defense grade inventory. And a hotel has the ability to distribute that inventory across all of those channels. But there hadn't been anybody that connected all of those channels. There wasn't anybody that had a 360-degree view of what the travel availability and pricing really looked like. And so as we built that, we aggregated 1.4 million properties globally across each of those different sources. And as we did it, we had this epiphany that we could change travel. So let's say you're going to go 6 nights. In this example, it's the Marriott Marquis in New York City. The traditional model is you take your 6 nights, you shop it across Expedia, you shop it across Booking.com, you shop it across Hotels.com, and then return one single result. Well, what we did is we broke that component. We broke that multi-night stay into components of 1, 2, and 3 nights. And then you shop each component independently across your multi-supply booking engine. Meaning you can find price arbitrage by breaking that booking into components. So this is what the beta looks like today. The engine comes in, it starts to segment that multi-night stay, it shops it across all the different supply sources. Granted, these are public rates, right? And in this example, it saves the consumer roughly 20%. We do the exact same thing for private rates. And so we have a freemium model that's open to consumers who maybe don't travel that often, but want to save money. And then we have a deeper community for people that travel more than 6, 7 nights a year, where you can move out of buying retail and now move into buying wholesale. And there's full transparency of where you're buying your inventory, who you're staying with. you think about it from a technical standpoint, there's a lot of data inconsistencies within travel. And so we had to build a chassis that would allow us to compare an apple to an apple. So we built a robust neural network that would compare what hotel room A is called on the wholesale channel compared to that exact same hotel room what it's called in the public channel. You think it would be identical, but it's not. And so we had to build this neural network that underlies the platform and be able to do that price arbitrage that I just talked about. And as we got into this, we realized that we had a massive opportunity to protect this idea. And so we filed our first claim, our first international patent claim in 2014. It was fully issued in 2017 in US, Australia, and Japan. And we have 5 more countries that we're actively in right now in office action. And so the gem of our business, kind of the hidden gem, is the members community, where we can get you behind a paid wall. Where once we get you behind that paid wall, we don't have to play by the public pricing mechanisms that are established globally. And the biggest piece to this, and we were discussing it outside, is that all of this data, non-identifiable for you as a user, gets written to a blockchain. So we know what the price has been historically, it can be audited, all the fees are written to a blockchain. In addition to that, we're also making the process much simpler. Using the information that as a traveler you want to give us to give you the best experience, not to maximize our revenue through the process. And then what doesn't exist today is the ability to transact homes and hotels in one single transaction. If you're going to, on a business trip and you want to do your first night at a hotel, you want to do the next 2 nights at an Airbnb, and you want to do your 3rd night at a hotel, there's no way to mix those together as one single transaction. You have to bounce back and forth in order to get that done. Our target market for our alpha are cryptocurrency holders. So we're allowing you to transact natively in crypto. And then another big piece that we're focused on is allowing you as a user to leverage your greatest asset, which is your home, your apartment, your flat. You can quickly discover what the value of your home is on a home sharing platform to see if there's value for you to list your home. This is a highly disruptive threat to very established companies that own and have purchased for billions of dollars meta search engines. Expedia owns Trivago, Trip.com, which is Ctrip, owns Skyscanner, Booking Holdings, which is Booking.com, owns Kayak. They're in the process of buying hotels combined right now. So we're in the middle of a public sale of tokens today. It's a utility token. It's an ERC20, so it's built on the Ethereum blockchain. We've got a very aggressive sale going on right now. Here are some of the token details. A little short on time, we're going to go through it. We do have bonuses based on both the time restricted and as well as a large purchase bonus. What I neglected to kind of talk about is our amazing team. So we have experts from machine learning, data science, our CTO, as a former CTO of AdBank that ran a successful token sale in 2016. Scott Lyons is a very accomplished media director and marketing genius. We have an incredible development team. Barclays Bank, over 10 years, understands the underpinnings of the financial industry. We've got a very easy to follow roadmap. You can look at all of our GitHub commits for all the code bases that we've been writing for the last 4 years in this project. We can talk in detail about what we've built in the past, where we are today, and really focus on an alpha release, crypto only, beta release, introducing fiat, which is going to be a direct to consumer. In conclusion, say goodbye to the past, right? These gnomes, these ways that pull us in, and embrace a consumer first approach with us over the future. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, man, for all of it.
Any questions? Do we have time for questions? Do you want me to?
No.
Okay, I'm grabbing you.
Yeah,
So we have Essex Malta next. Now we have a project that's